such a utilitarian occupation as the watering of the flowers is rather Moulton's duty than yours, especially at the moment when intellectual pleasures await you. Your German grammar is on the table. Pray open it at page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't at all a becoming language. I know perfectly well that I look quite plain after my German lessons.
Child, you know how anxious your guardian is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving for town yesterday.
And his gravity of demeanour is to be especially commended in one as comparatively young as he is.
I know of no one who has a higher sense of duty, responsibility.
I suppose that is why he often looks a little bored when we three are together.
Oh, Cecily, I'm surprised at you. Mr. Worthing has many troubles in his life. Idle merriment and triviality would be out of place in his conversation. You must remember his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
Well, I wish he would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down. We may have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I know you certainly would. You know German and geology and things of that kind influence a man very much.
I'm not sure that even I could have an effect on a character that by his own brother's admission is irretrievably weak and vacillating. Indeed, I'm not sure I would desire to reclaim him. I'm not all in favour of this modern mania for turning bad people into good people at a moment's notice. As a man sows, so shall he reap. Cecily, you must put away your diary. I really don't see why you should keep a diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. If I did not write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the diary we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the facts that have never happened and couldn't possibly have happened. I believe that memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels that Maudie sends us.
Oh, do not speak slightingly of the 3-volume novel, Cecily. I wrote one myself in earlier times.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. Did it end happily? I don't much like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
The good ended happily, the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means.
I suppose so, but it does seem so very unfair. And was your novel ever published, Miss Prism?
Alas, no. The manuscript, unfortunately, was abandoned. I use the word in the sense of lost or mislaid. To your work, child. These speculations are profitless.
Oh, but I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming through the garden.
Oh, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we this morning? Miss Prism, you are, I trust, well?
Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache, dear Doctor. In fact, I think it would do her so much good to have a short stroll with you through the park.
I have not mentioned anything about a headache, Cecily.
I know, dear Miss Prism, but I felt instinctively that you had a headache. Indeed, I was thinking about that and not my German lesson when the rector here came in.
I hope, Cecily, you are not inattentive.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
That is strange. Well, were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her whips. I spoke metaphorically. My metaphor was born from bees. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not yet returned from town yet?
Oh, we do not look for him until Monday afternoon.
Oh, yes. He does like to spend his Sundays in London. He is not one whose sole aim is enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man his brother seems to be. But I shall not disturb Egeria and her pupil any longer.
Egeria? My name's Letitia, Doctor.
A classical allusion, merely, drawn from the pagan authors. I shall see you both, no doubt, at evensong.
I think, dear Doctor, I will have a stroll with you. I find I have a headache after all, and a walk might do me good.
With pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. We might walk as far as the schools and back.
That would be delightful. Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence. The chapter on the fall of the rupee, you may admit. It is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side. Oh, thank you.
Horrid political economy, horrid geography, horrid German.
Excuse me, miss, but there's a Mr. Ernest Worthing that's just driven over from the station, miss, and he's brought his luggage with him.
Oh. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany W. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, miss, he seemed to be most disappointed. I mentioned that you and Miss Prism were in the garden, and he said he was anxious to speak to you privately for a moment, miss.
Oh, pray ask Mr. Ernest Worthing to come out here, and I suppose you had better speak to the housekeeper about a room for him.
Yes, miss.
I have never met any really wicked person before. I feel rather frightened. I am so afraid he will look just like everybody else.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, miss.
He does.
You are my little cousin Cecily, I presume?
You are under some strange mistake. I'm not little at all. In fact, I believe I'm more than usually tall for my age. But yes, I am your cousin Cecily. You, I see from your card, are Uncle Jack's brother, my cousin Ernest. My wicked cousin Ernest.
Oh, cousin Cecily, I'm not really wicked at all. You mustn't think that I am wicked.
If you are not, then you have certainly been deceiving us in a very inexcusable manner. I hope that you have not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and bad, when really being good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Well, I suppose I have been a little reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
Now that I think of it, I have been actually really quite bad. In my own small way.
I'm not sure you should be quite proud of that fact, Ernest. Although I'm sure it must have been very pleasant.
Oh, it is much more pleasant being here with you, cousin Cecily.
I cannot understand how you are here at all. Uncle Jack is not back until Monday afternoon.
Yes, that is a huge disappointment to me. I'm obliged to catch the first train Monday morning back to London. You see, I have a business arrangement that I am eager to miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
No, the appointment is in London.
Oh, well, I of course know the importance of not keeping a business engagement if one is meant to retain any sense of the beauty of life. But still, I think you had better wait until Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to speak to you about your emigrating.
About my what?
Your emigrating. He has gone up to buy your outfit.
No. I would never let Jack buy for me. He has such awful taste in neckties.
Oh, but I don't think you shall require neckties. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia? I would sooner die.
Well, at Wednesday night and dinner, he said that you would have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Yes, well, by all accounts of the next world and Australia, well, they're not particularly encouraging, you see, cousin Cecily. No. This world right here will be quite good enough for me.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
Well, I'm afraid that I'm not that. So perhaps you could reform me. I could perhaps be your mission, cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I have no time this afternoon.
Well, then would you mind me reforming myself then this afternoon?
It is rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
Yes, I'm feeling better already.
You are looking a little worse.
Well, yes, that is because I'm hungry.
How thoughtless of me. I had quite forgotten that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come in?
Yes, cousin Cecily. Might I have a buttonhole first? I never have any type of appetite without having a buttonhole first.
A Maréchal Neil?
Oh, no. I'd much sooner have a pink rose.
Why?
Well, Cousin Cecily, because you were like a pink rose.
Oh, I don't think it can be quite right for you to say such things to me, Ernest. Miss Prism never says such things to me.
Yes, well, if Miss Prism doesn't say such things to you, then I think Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You were the prettiest girl I ever saw in my entire life, Cecily.
Miss Prism says that all good looks are a snare.
Yes, a snare that any sensible man would like to find himself in.
Well, I don't think that I should care to catch a sensible man. I should not know what to talk to him about.